going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, part of Den Media Group, presented by me. Presented by the Book Bag Drive. Fuck it. That's when we spend a good portion of it. My 4th annual Book Bag Drive. We give him to the streets, doing all kinds of different things. Football camp, Atlanta, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, all starting July 22nd through 29 through August 6th, I believe, is the last event. So different things. We have the calendar set. July 22nd is Orlando. The website and all these different things should be going live soon, to where you can register for a variety of different things. Register for the book bags, register to volunteer. The donations are going to be live on that page as well through PayPal, but you can go to MFTK Foundation at gmail.com if you want to go and give through PayPal. You can write MFTK Foundation on Venmo, money sign MFTK36, or you can Zelle, do a bunch of other stuff. If you want to Zelle, you probably just got to reach out to me in my DMs or something like that for us to do that. Right now, we're still at 500 book bags raised, so we have 3,100 left. But a lot of people are trying to come on board relatively soon. If you listen to Monday's show, we were talking to the mayor, so hopefully we'll get some stuff from City of Jacksonville, working with City of Tallahassee, different councilmen, different stuff like that. But if you have a business that does, had a great meeting yesterday with Cox Media Group, which if you're in Jacksonville, they have the big station, 95.1 WAP. I gotta sing the song. It's like 95.1 WAPE, and they're like they're the big ape, and they have a morning show. They we talked about doing promotions with that, having them get involved. I think I got a meeting with iHeart coming up. Just talked to Stephen Ponder with Seminole Boosters, Battles In, just trying to get involved. We got a bunch of different, hopefully Mike Norvell gets involved again, a bunch of different ways that we're going to do this. But this is, again, my way to give back to the community, to kind of help some of the hell I cause, to try to raise less hell, but also to make sure your kids don't fuck up my kids. It's really not a lot of nobleness into it. It's literally, I just don't want other people's kids fucking up my kids. So whether you give money or not is irrelevant to what's going on. Something will happen, but if we all do a little, we can accomplish a lot. So that's that. If you time, talent, and treasure. So if you can't pay, we need volunteers. That's your time. Your talent is the things that you're good at. And I'm going to show you in multiple ways that you can help to the book bag drive through your talent. So like, it could be your company. If y'all have a match program, let me know. We'll come up with some money, just send it to them and let them match it. That's a way to get some bread. Or the people that you have access to. That's why I meet with Gator Bowl tonight, this evening, about the book bag drive and some other things. So like, that's your talent. And then treasure is obviously your cash. But one thing that we can all do very easily, which helps with this, there's this thing called YouTube. And YouTube is algorithm driven. You can become a subscriber to Den Media Group. And what happens is, and click the like for this video or any of the videos. You can also share the videos. And the more people view it, and the longer they view it, I get paid. And when I get paid from this channel, that goes directly into the budget for the different things that I do in the community. So you can let their sponsors and advertisers write those, basically pay it by making, videos. I think when our videos get over 1,000 views, it's pretty profitable. You see the YouTube shorts, but the big thing right now is we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. Once we get to 3,000 subscribers, I think that's a good number. It continues to help you grow because it puts your channel on the forefront with other like channels and like videos. If we can get that going, I think that would be great. Also, if you consider being a member, all the membership money goes toward that. Personally, we went from $0 to a couple $100 a month, like relatively quick. So I'm all for it. So like, just let's keep doing that, keep growing. Super chats while we're in here. If you're thinking about it, like, hey man, I got a couple dollars, even though I prefer you just give it to the personal Cash App or the Venmo, but you may like to feel like giving YouTube 30% of every dollar that you give here. Still, either way, we're appreciative of that. Once we get to 3,000 subs, we'll give $300 away to somebody. We will also that will also make sure we will not raffle. Yeah, is it raffle or is it drawing? Raffle is when people pay, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a drawing for 2 tickets to the FSU LSU game, which again, them tickets are like I might not go to the game because I may sell all my tickets because this is a hot commodity. But if you can't go to the game and you can't afford the ticket, you can afford the tailgate. The tailgate, $60, all you can eat, all you can drink. We'll get into that. JT Tool ask about Travis Rudolph case. I actually may start off with that. With some of the things that are going on with that. But the tailgate is going to be live. We want 1,000 people there, 5 lots. We'll have parking. I believe I'm trying to get it to where we'll have 100 parking spots. Actually, did he put that on Facebook? JT, this is what I need you to JT, this is what I need you to do. I will immediately talk about this, what you want to talk about, if you put that comment on YouTube. So forget the Facebook Live, get out of there, and go to YouTube, Den Media Group, ask me that exact same question. Because that is on the list of things to talk to, but it's a reason we're not promoting the Facebook Live anymore. YouTube is where it's at. But again, that's what that is. We got the tailgate, big time. We're going to also have a tailgate for Southern Miss. Now that we know the announced times, we got basically 2 primetime games back to back. And then we'll have the Boston College. We won't have an away tailgate for Boston College because I can't get up there that quick. And I'm kind of mad, but actually not really. It'll be cool. It'll be relatively cool for Floridian then in Boston. Don't want to play them in November because that's when they're starting to get that snow. Like that first snow, it's not as heavy as January is. Like that's why I was trying to tell people when they're talking about we don't want to play in the Big East because it snows. Like we're in the fucking we're not playing in Serbia. Like we're playing in America. The real snow stuff doesn't happen until after Thanksgiving, and gratefully we don't have those things to worry about. But those are the kickoff times. Those are the different ways to support the different interests that we have going on with this channel. Shout out to my guy Chris Frazier with Sporadics, doing great stuff. You need to go follow that. Shout out to my little bro, CJ Wilson, and what he's doing with the Big 3 roll up and whatnot. But my one sponsor is now I just got the videos of me working. So everybody, Goodfellas is where we record at. That's our big sponsor. They bring you literally the show because it's where we record out of. Every Tuesday night, I work. If you're part of the All-In membership, you get a membership here at the Goodfellas Cigar Lounge, which gives you a cigar, 1 cigar a month, and you get access to our members only parties. So yesterday we had our members only party. It was dope. Appreciate you. Thank you, JC. We had as soon as I get done with this, I got you. We'll talk about Travis. But we had that. People got free champagne, drink specials, food, all kinds of different things. I was partying. Let me rephrase it. It's not champagne. People do like champagne. But I don't like the way champagne tastes. Prosecco is what we gave away. Prosecco is to me, it's like Sprite. It's like a little bit better, like wine Sprite. It's a little sweeter. It's not like sugary sweet, but it's like champagne tastes like ass or piss to me. Like actually, really? I just don't like it. I think people are more in love with what champagne symbolizes. Yeah. So, but we had a toast to our members and we had a good amount. Yeah. So this was me there. That's Kirsten. Kirsten is got so everybody like her. She's our member liaison, and then we were just talking about that. We had a great, she works. We had a great band come out. That's Pressure. They they are pressure. But they good. Like they get you moving. Hopefully, when we have our, it's going to be unofficially named the Black Party. You can be anything, you know me. I got more Caucasians coming, black people, but it's not. There's going to be a block party for Labor Day week, and that's going to be country music. And I'm used to it. Do what you do, damn thug this. And we're gonna have a black party. That's where we're gonna come over. We're gonna listen to 80s, 90s R&B, things like that. They're gonna be the thing. I'm sorry, I don't get down with country and beer like that, but we'll have beer, food vendors, all kinds of different stuff where you can at least eat. Because the other problem is where the block party is like four restaurants, but everybody's eating inside of the restaurant. And then I tried to eat like a hot dog and a burger thing where they would give you a shot at the block party for the tailgate. I like a good hot dog. I like a glizzy. You're not gonna judge me. I'm mature. If I want to fucking glizzy with some ketchup and mustard or a chili dog, I'm gonna fucking eat a chili dog. The problem is I don't want a soggy glizzy. And it's like you bite it, and it was they boiled it and it was in the hot dog water too long. And it was just wasn't crisp. But we're gonna skip some stuff. Going to Travis Rudolph, as my man talked about. One, you gotta always we have a problem with in America where people don't read or listen to understand or comprehend. They want to be mad about something, so they just argue over the most ridiculous shit. Oh, I didn't damn. But what happened was, Travis, it's an interesting case. So like we have this short that we did that's gone viral, and it keeps getting comments where people aren't listening to what I'm saying in the 1 minute clip. I think they're listening to what Miles put in the description of reading that and getting more angry than what they should get. And so my personal opinion is Travis is innocent. Travis did nothing wrong. Travis was, from a common sense perspective, defending himself. But the beautiful thing about this show is this is a 2A show, meaning that we are about the Second Amendment. You guys know me with Green Acres and all of that shit. One of the things that I suggest everybody do, I know July 1st, everybody thinks it's the Wild West. So one thing I suggest you do, go to Green Acres, tell them Big Game sent you, and take the actual self-defense course regardless. You're going to learn about the basic laws of how to, of carrying. And with the way they teach it, and this is at a gun store, the way they teach it literally made me not want to own a gun. In particular, certain guns, and I own 3 AR-15s, well, 2 traditional AR-15 rifles, and now one that's illegal. I own the AR pistol with the bump stock. I got to take the bump stock off of it, but it makes no sense to shoot that high power weapon because it's illegal because it's a modified rifle. It either has to be a rifle or it has to be a pistol. You can't have modified weapons. Thanks, DeSantis. That was exactly what everybody was worried about. But whatever. I say all this to say is that one of the clear things is when somebody retreats, if you can see their back, no matter what they did to you before that, you cannot shoot them. And that's where it's kind of like, it depends on what the judge says when he releases the jury. Now, I personally believe with all the circumstances, they have the state has not presented their case without a shadow, without any doubt that Travis Rudolph went with malice to kill those guys. What they have painted is a picture in which we all knew beforehand is that people were sent to basically, whether you believe that they didn't mean that they were going to kill him or not. 4 dudes show up to your mama house asking for you, and one hits you and you're fighting. That that caused the situation in the chain reaction. The girl caused a lot of this by sending the text messages in which she tried to delete, which I don't think people are very smart. Like, what's that's out in the world, it's out in the world. But if you've listened to her, if you've listened to her brother, if you listen to Travis's brother who went on the stand, and the one thing that was kind of tricky, and I don't think he did bad, but most people don't put the guy who's on trial on the stand, but he actually did a pretty good job. You find out that the girl was actually married. She was not just dead, but she was, which, but like for most women with a lot of stuff, it's a little hypocritical in nature with some of the things. You were mad at him for potentially cheating on you while you were literally in a whole marriage, which is, again, I'm not judging that. That's the way of the world. Women cheat, men cheat, but you don't get mad and try to kill somebody who's cheating on you because of these different things. She also, like, one of the funniest things in this, and the guy, the prosecutor, Travis's attorney basically called her one of them, basically a city girl almost. Like how most women say, I'm strong, independent woman who don't need a man, and he's a bum in this. Yet she lives with her mother. Yeah. And she needed him to pay for her surgeries and different things like that. It's like, nah, you ain't got no money. Like you're like, you live with your mama. But and then one of the cool things that the his attorney said was that I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And I think that's one of the things that they did harp on and make that. What did he say? In my opinion, he had every right. The state's argument is 39 shots. He had a 100-round drum and he didn't even empty it. He had every right to empty it to eliminate it. Which it just, again, so that's right. Then I guess what's his he has another one. They say they were retreating, but the state hasn't proven that while retreating that the threat was not still aiming their firearms back at him while. Right. So there's guns, but the problem, and it's not a problem. I'm just saying the only real hiccup is that if it's self-defense, ARs don't come equipped with 100-round drums. That's one. It's also not a defensive weapon. And you're responsible for everywhere you shoot. And 39 shots does sound excessive, but if you have a 100-round drum and you squeeze that trigger, like it's gonna sing. You don't get that chop on the ground getting deep, flash that. But a lot of the things killed the hand is motion. Obviously, the gun dropped out of his hand, but his I guess how you would carry out or how you would have somebody like we guns. There's no way for you to recognize. If a trained person can't recognize that, this is really the fact that it was a bunch of people that didn't do their job very well and cover their tracks because of high profile. Regardless of what they try to paint, I think you need all 12 to be able to get at minimum. I don't even know what I'm just saying from a perspective of this night would have never happened. God, not sure. It would have never happened. Like the situation was already painted. One that's going to be tense when you have called him, you have called his mother, his sister, you have called everybody that is Travis. Going to get them. It's the only person not believing. And then you can't hear she was in the aggressor. One of the craziest things. Now, I want to say she's not on trial. And that is 100% true. She's not on trial. For less. One of Jay's friends, I forgot which one it was. Actually, he's the one who started the paper cuts. He had he's 5 years because he gave the business of one associate to another associate who is linked you to it. And if that happened, they're like, there was already a felon. Yeah, it does. Like, I didn't know exactly what happened. But conspiracy, you don't have to have a little bit. That's how they get all the basically Rico and all these different things. But what I'm saying is that if he goes down, even if mic check. Oh, okay. I don't know. They just in the comments somebody put the sounds off. Please fix the audio. All right. So we're still having audio issues. Mic check. Hmm.
What's good now, chat?
That's interesting. What did the audio issues happen? Hmm. Oh, it's good now. It just wasn't clear. You maybe at YouTube. But, yeah, I don't know what happened. But either way, hopefully I heard most of the stuff with Trap. But bottom line is it's it's a shitty situation. And it's a situation that should not have happened. And it's a situation that it's why you don't I don't know how to even explain. Like, don't bring me into no situation unless it's like don't call me if you one. If my sister probably said I need you to go shoot this shit up, I'm not coming. You go shoot this shit. Yeah. I'm be like, you fucking crazy. Don't know what the fuck y'all got going on, but keep me the fuck out of it. But when people say protect black women, this is like what they mean. And like, but this is why you just can't. This is why you can't believe all women. It sounds bad, right? Because everybody's like, believe women, believe women. Like, but like, this is what happens when you believe women. Just out the gate. Like, I'm not saying, like, no investigation, no. And what's happening is, and I've said it on another show, I believe, there's a guy looking up right now at us who died for some pussy that he wasn't even getting.
But you gotta know, you the brother, like, your sister's kind
of trifling. In this situation, you like, wait a minute, you ain't even married to this cat. Like, why am I gonna come over here? But this is a brother who felt like I gotta do this. I gotta show I'm that guy. I gotta prove this. And women will say shit like, you're be a man. Like, you don't what the fuck does that mean? You don't know what to be a man. You don't piss standing up. You don't know what it's like to be a man. So it's just silly shit like that. It's unfortunate. And I pray Trav gets off. I pray closure. Because what's not, and this is what his attorney brought up, was not brought up in this, is the fact they went to Trav's mama's house. Right. So she said, shoot up his shit. Like, that could have involved his mom. That could have involved a bunch of other different people who had nothing to do with that situation. And that mom could have, who just lost, had he not just lost his father recently to that, bunch of cameras around the house. And they were even asking, why would you do that? Bitch, I just lost my husband to a gun. Like, I'm terrified. So she has like the screen, and like she got high, she got two. I thought it was just a ring cam, but she has two camera systems. Had we not had those camera systems, this case would be just believe her word for it. She tells people that he was physical to her, and all we see is her whipping his ass.
Yeah.
And then she comes up and says he's never hit me before. But we know for a fact that you've hit him. And we know that there was the violence and all of those things. So like it's a cautionary tale. It's one thing where I'm just warning a lot of young men, like don't even be worried about, what's going on with these chicks. I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's a every day I want my sons to be more like Future. Like, which I say Future is because like I don't even care if she wasn't married. I don't care if they were in a monogamous relationship. If he was fucking somebody else and you felt the need to be physical to that, like now ain't none of y'all fucking nobody. Because he would have died or you're going to jail. And guess what happens when you go to jail? He's going to go find somebody else to have sex with. Like, I don't want none of that smoke. But anyways, we got to go to more sad. Positive note. Apple cares. Not really, but they kind of do. Apple's trying to bring us into. Remember how scary everybody was? It was like Black Mirror, this and like the metaverse, and we can live here. Like nobody's talking about the metaverse anymore because the real verse is so much cooler, and it still looks like The Sims and shit right now. But but I will admit this new Apple thing, it's cool until you see the price. I ain't paying $3,600 for no glasses. But it kind of the one that I think this would be kind of freaky is that you can mix and match virtual reality with real reality. So like I could see everything in the room, but I could also go play a game and it's $3,600. But like, I think where Apple is getting me a little bit nervous, especially if this is true. I really don't know with the internet anymore, but Apple tracks everything on the health app. It tracks your steps. It tracks your weight gain, weight loss, sleep patterns, all these different things that are really, really good so that if some Chinese person hacked it and wanted to know your every movement, they got you. I believe there's even an app where if you're a runner, it's like a metronome. Like you can hear it, it'll give you a vibration for every time you're supposed to take a step so you can know how you're running. But I've never seen it want to track my mental health. Mental health is the new, but it's wild how much of a buzzword mental health is for people to still not give a fuck about people's. People get on me and be like, James, you shouldn't be so arrogant, or it's like that nobody cares, but nobody cares. And my mental health is between a 4 and a 6 on any given day. I think that's good for me. Like I don't know. Like I ain't never been I don't know when I might have been a 10 when I was on my mom's tit. That might have been the last time I was that. My boys might be 10s. Killer's always happy. But 4 to 6 is just right where I'm at. I may have dipped one a little bit lower. It might have been a little higher. But I don't want my watch or my phone asking me about this. Because what is it gonna do? It's gonna give me breathing exercises. A lot of my problems come from bills. Is it gonna pay a bill? Like, what can we do to make your mental health better? Pay a fucking bill. Like, that's all I can. I mean, I ain't got nothing else for you, but the reality is, most of us time, man, how you doing? It's really just small talk. Nobody really, really cares. And it's one of those things where they'll say, we care about your mental health until you say something that we don't like, and then it's fuck your mental health.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't really know what to do with that, So it's something that Cat Williams said in a comedy sketch, which is terrible, but it's also true at the same time. Said it's called self-esteem. It's esteem of one's motherfucking self. So you have to like really find things to put you in your happy place and stuff like that. Like I tell people when I get somebody to lie to me and say I'm handsome, that fucking helps me. I be out this bitch thinking I'm finding the motherfucker. I'll be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go for those results. They like to make more people say that shit. But like, you know, but again, like I think as a guy who's I don't know what you call it, like, you know, like you got walking pneumonia. You ever heard people say that? Like I got like walking depression, I guess. So but it never just hits me like that. And the worst thing you can do for somebody who is dealing with these things is try to like put your perspective on it. It doesn't help. I can promise you that. It only makes things worse because now we don't want to talk to you. Like now you're making it about I'm worried and paranoid about you. See, this is why I don't say anything. You weren't worried and paranoid until I said something. Now I'm worried and paranoid about you, and it's making my depression even worse. So that's one of the things. Apple, basically, I don't need you interfering with my life. What I need you to do is stop fucking with my phone when you put up a new operating system or a new phone comes out, and all of a sudden the phone that I had that was working perfectly fine no longer works anymore. So like I don't really care for that. Or make the shit cheaper. That would help. But but you know, and then or no, something I would watch in augmented reality is a story about Arrival, and this is coming on I don't know which one, Amazon, Netflix, but imagine a world, if you will. I want to paint this picture. It's a football movie, and the main characters are a maniacal serial killer gay person, right? A serial killing homosexual, a racist, Jesus's nephew, and two twin terrorist overgrown babies, with a character of guys who use dead girls' credit cards, who commit all kind of vile acts. Of the 85 players on this team, all 10 of the commandments that God laid out have been broken and violated. I present to you Urban Swamp Stories. The story of Urban Meyer, some University of Florida teams. Oh, my bad. A guy who whooped his his boss's ass. So what am I talking about? Aaron Hernandez, maniacal gay killer. We've seen him. He went to jail. He went to the booty house. Chico has a Netflix special on him and his gay lover, which I don't believe. I believe Chico got better taste than that. I believe Chico was gay, but I don't think Chico was fucking the third string quarterback of his high school team. Come on, dog. Like you selling your booty for some money. Like I would be mad even if I was gay. Like I'm not selling myself for $50,000 Netflix check and I don't want to be known for that. You was the secret gay lover of Aaron Hernandez. Like that's not. I don't want that to be my claim. I would never want that to be the claim of fame of anybody in my family. But whatever, that's his. So you got Chico, Riley Skinner, who's known for saying the N-word at a country music concert. Like I can't understand that one because he wasn't even using it in a good context. He was just like, "I'm gonna kill all the N-words back, all you N-words back there." At a country music concert, odds are very, very high. Wasn't no N-words back there. Yeah. Could have got it done with the C word. I don't understand it, but hey, Jesus' nephew, that's Tim Tebow. When they make the new version of the Bible, his words will be written in blue letters. Percy Harvin beat up his wide receiver coach. Billy Gonzalez, who's currently the wide receiver coach at the University of Florida, but he whooped his ass, and Urban Meyer just moved the drill up 15 yards after he whipped his ass. The Pouncey twins, overgrown twins that literally, one story that they tell, and I think I would fight if this happened, is Tim Tebow's a workout warrior and all these different things. And they said, Tebow, we got this new workout thing where, like, you know, it's like you got to close your eyes. If you close your eyes and try to do a sit-up, it's harder to do or something like that. And so they had him blindfolded, and then one of the Pouncey twins was butt naked in front of him, and then they held his shoulders, and then he fought through it, and then his nose went between the cheeks of the lineman. Somebody had to die.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my nose in another man's. See, but so when I say stuff like talk about Penn State and like how it seems like rape constantly happens up there, like I don't know why it just keeps happening. Normally it's just like, oh my God, that was terrible one time thing, and then you hear about locker room stuff. I'm not the guy who's going, and I'm teaching them, no, we do not silently like that. You ain't taking no silent that. That is not camaraderie. That is not brotherhood. That is, we do like, now if you are of the practicing of that, like Chico was, I think you should not shit where you eat. You should not be trying to sleep with your teammates. You probably should go try to, you know, I'm not saying don't be gay, because I know some gay football players. They were really good. But then I don't think they try to sleep within the team. That's where we draw the line. I don't care who you fucking or who's fucking you. I just don't want you fucking me. That's it. Right. So, but that's my political stance on everything. But I'm interested in seeing this because I really want to know. It sounded like they was just wilding in Gainesville during that time. Because like even Aaron Hernandez, something that's not talked about. My friend who passed, Ryan Keith, is one of the ones who posted that on Twitter. And he was just like, nobody's telling the real story here. So Aaron Hernandez recruiting visit, when he came to the University of Florida, he got in a bar fight.
Wow.
And they kicked him out, and he didn't pay his tab at a bar. He was underage. He's not 21. And he was drinking at a bar. And do you know who paid his tab? Tim Tebow paid his tab. Nobody's talking about how Jesus' nephew, why was Jesus' nephew in the bar? And he paid the tab. Like they knew Chico was a wild boy out the gate. Right. Like typically when that happens, schools are like, don't know if it's in our best interest to get him here. But like they said, we gotta have it. We need crazy psychos like that on that team. So there's going to be that. That's what's going on in Florida, besides them having a wide receiver get flipped from Clemson. You know, I want Florida fans to always think, but this is a cool story too. Sometimes dads know, but then they don't know. Because Aaron Murray, who was a quarterback for the University of Georgia, probably will be kind of just pseudo popular because now everybody likes Stetson. Like when Stetson decides to do what he's doing, nobody will give a fuck about Aaron Murray anymore because Stetson brought as many national championships in his career at Georgia as Georgia had in their entirety. He'll probably be the mayor. I'm not the mayor, the governor of Georgia one day. But play that video, and Aaron's talking about his official visit to the University of Florida.
Junior year of high school. I took a trip to Gainesville. I mean, it's an hour and a half north of Tampa. And I remember Spikes walks out. You're like, my God, there's Tebow walking out, you know. And then Aaron Hernandez walks out. And I remember my dad looking at me, and he still reminds me to this day of this, saying, I don't know who that kid really is, but if you commit to Florida, I don't think you should hang out with him. And it was just the way that he was interacting with coaches and players and just that kind of look in his eyes. I remember my dad literally looking at me. I was like, no, I'm being dead ass serious here, Aaron. If you commit to Florida, I don't think you should get it anywhere near that kid. Stay close to Tim. Stay far from Aaron. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Well, he didn't go to Florida. But you want to know something wild? You want to know something wild? Guess who Aaron Hernandez's roommate was? Tim Tebow. Your dad would have had you in there getting your cheeks clapped by Chico, or you would have been doing drive-bys with, because that's what I really want to know. Nobody's questioning Tim Tebow. That's how I can tell you, if you live your life blameless, nobody will ever question you about anything. How was all of this happening with Aaron Hernandez at Florida, and his roommate was Tim Tebow, and nobody's questioning Tebow. Listen, I'm with it. I'm winning by any means necessary. We will figure out the other shit later on, but we need the wins. We need the wins. Huh? Okay, right now. Oh, so the jury went to deliberations, and whatchamacallit over there, praying. They got Travis Rudolph over there praying. Just for an update real quick on that, but that's what's going on with UF. But FSU again, softball. Told y'all, man, them girls, them some bad motherfuckers. Fine too. If you didn't watch the game, like, I don't really know, like, if you have a soul. But we talked about that because we did a show on Monday later. Did we talk about Florida State played? Yeah, Florida State played Monday, so we wouldn't have known. Like, yeah, so the game. So I watched Stanford, Oklahoma first, and they went to extra innings, and that black girl was slanging that ball. But Oklahoma just really that good, so I don't really know, man. I'm hoping for the best, but like Oklahoma cold, man. But Florida State, that little girl, the little munchkin did it again. Like where she did a little. Remember we saw the double play?
Oh yeah.
But she didn't do it quite like that. But she did the little jump thing where she caught it, and then it was out. But Florida State beat the hell out of Tennessee. I saw somebody put a tweet. They volunteered to show up, and they were voluntold to go home. And so our girls will be playing Oklahoma at 8 p.m. tonight. And ESPN put a tweet out. ESPN Women. Which athlete has the hardest nickname in women's sports? And I'm not even going to hold you. The hardest nickname in women's sports goes to Michaela Edenfield. Michaela Edenfield's nickname is Area 51. And she just be sending balls into outer space. Like how she crushes the ball when she hits a home run. She hit a home run. Like she was the first run. She tied it up. So it was 1-1, us Tennessee. And she's so strong that it wasn't even like her legs weren't even, it was all upper body that took that ball out of there. But we had a steal. My one of my teammates, his daughter got a steal during the game, and that helped put us there. But nothing's wilder and I think this is how you really get true equality is when you realize that everything is up for the table to be picked on, right? We can't just say, oh, that's woman, that's misogynist. Like if women can objectify men, it's sports. Like this is why we're watching it. We can engage in the beauty. And there are things that you can't really help. Like you can't help what your name is. Like LSU had a quarterback, his name was General Booty. Awesome name. There's a whole Key and Peele skit on random weird names in football. I love some of the names of the girls in the softball World Series. Sandercock. It's just a good ass name. And nothing's better when your Sandercock is dominating booty. Or bootay, if you will. And as a man, you love nothing more than the Sandercock on your team dominating the pony. If the Sandercock not dominating the pony, what are we doing? Exactly. But this is what the announcers were saying, and it's like you're trying to have a straight face, but their commentary is just hilarious. And my boy Jason, Florida High grad, and I'm gonna tell you this: it's not just me as a man; it's women too. Put Peachy Hanses. She's like, when she mentioned the matchup with Pooney, I was ashamed of myself how much I laughed Because even women like to see Poonie get beat up. Oh, I thought he said if. I thought he said the announcer said so. If the announcer ever says DP in the 2-hole, I'm never watching again because I am a child. Because those things mean different things depending upon what you watch. And it's going to be great. I don't know what any of the names of the Oklahoma players are. I just know they're good. They play Oklahoma plays the long game, man. They're so fucking good. But if you're not a fan of FSU, if you're a fan of just women, like good sports, softball is like they've been doing. Like softball has a good women's basketball. Hopefully they'll follow the softball mode, and you'll be seeing this a lot more, and like you'll be way more interested in women college athletics. But because I don't play softball, this is a football show for the most part. I wanted to show a guy who it's a redemption thing. So we picked on this guy because he drinks coffee like a weirdo. And he also got mad because Florida State fans literally annihilated him for his stance on White Mike. He was like, y'all didn't even like him. Well, we fucking like him now. Fuck you. Tell the truth. And this is when I came around, I think it was like August when he did all of this. And this is when I was just telling people, I'm like, no, I think we had beat LSU and we had a 3-game run. And he was like, well, who have you beat? You haven't done this. You haven't. I'm like, and he was saying Miami was a better program. And I'm like, I don't know how you can say these things and like watch it, but he's changed his tune. And I'm about redemption. And so I'm with you when you're right. What is that? Oh, Michaela. It's talking Michaela. But yeah, I'm with you when you're right. And I like giving people the opportunity to right their wrong. So I want to everybody's doing these schedule previews. And I wanted him to, say what he thinks about Florida State because I haven't done mine yet. And I've done it on other shows, but like, I don't want to be a homer. So what does this guy have to say?
All right, King of College Football here, 2023 team previews. And if you're looking for a team that can come not out of nowhere, but
nobody knew
come into the playoff mix and maybe be a playoff team, maybe compete for a national title, it's Florida State. It's Florida State. They haven't been there in a couple of years, but last year was a prove-it year for Mike Norvell, and he proved it. Jordan Travis took a big step forward. Jared Verse is awesome. They got some big-time recruits or transfers in. The receiver position's looking good. This is a good football team. This is a team that could win 11 games, 10 games, maybe 12. But here's the story of their season. It's between September 23rd and September 3rd. Yep. They open with LSU, another national title hopeful. If they beat them, it's in Orlando, Florida. Then it's at Clemson, September 23rd. If they go 2-0 in those games, look out. They're a playoff team. If they go 1-1, they're in the mix. If they go 0-2, over. They might fail down the stretch. But that's their schedule. They got LSU basically at home in Orlando. Then they got Clemson on the road. The rest of it, Miami at home, Duke at home, Virginia Tech at home. And then they get to Miami, Wake Forest, Pitt. Pitt's pretty good, but they should win that. They got a good quarterback, a good coach. And then they get to end their season November 25th against the rotting corpse that is the Florida Gators. This is at least a 10-win team. This might be an 11-win team. It could be a 12-win team. And it might have a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Jordan Travis is terrific. The receivers are good. Watch out for Florida State. I don't like saying it, but watch out for Florida State.
Because, I don't like when everybody's saying we're good. Like, hey, man, chill out. But we need context. Why did he make the comment that he made? It was so disrespectful. He didn't have to call Florida a rotten corpse. How does he really feel about the University of Florida? I'm curious. Oh, well, he did a video about them too. Don't think Florida fans were very happy about this one. But all I ask people to do is based upon the evidence in which we have been presented, show me the lie and what he said on both of them. And I let you judge for yourself. I don't see any lies.
All right, college football 2023 team previews. And if you want to see a team that might sneaky get their coach fired this year, it's this one. The Florida Gators the Florida Gators might have to fire Billy Napier at some point this year. They're not going to be very good. They couldn't win with a top 4 quarterback last year in Anthony Richardson. But look at this schedule. They're never going to be in front of it. They're never going to be in front of it. They're going to chase all season long. They're never going to have a winning record, perhaps. They start off at Utah, loss. Then they win a game. They play Tennessee at home, loss. Win another game, play Kentucky on the road, loss. 2-3. We're through September. We haven't had a winning record yet. Then let's say you beat Vanderbilt. You get to 3-3. Now you're at South Carolina and Georgia and Jacksonville. 2 losses. So you're 3-5 at very best. After that, you got to get back on the horse. You got Arkansas and LSU back-to-back. At best, that's 1-1. So you're 4-6 or something right now. You got Missouri, say you beat them 5, and then Florida State's going to wear your ass out at the end of the season. 5-7 might be best case scenario for Billy Napier, sorry ass, at Florida. And if he didn't have a 5-star recruit signed right now at quarterback, DJ Lagway, well, he's not signed but committed. If he didn't have that guy committed, he might get fired. Like if that guy decommits and he goes 5-7 or 4-8, which he's going to, he could get fired. I can't believe they fired Dan Mullen for this crap.
Tell us how you really feel, man. Like he's a little upset. Something that makes me feel like him, though, it makes me upset. Is people lying on these jits. These jits wild. They crazy, but no wilder and crazy than any generation of jits before. Trust me, I've heard. Oh, my bad. Actually, before we get into that, I got to go to this part. This is a lie too. So, because he is incredibly smart and he's really good at his job. Bud Elliott is one of those guys that is going to live and die by percentages and blue chip ratio. What blue chip ratio means is that it's the percentage of 4 and 5-star players on your roster relative to 3 and under. And in that, what's the last few national championship, the winner has had a blue chip ratio. Nobody's ever won a natty with a blue chip ratio under, I think, 60% or maybe even 50%. For this case, he uses 50%. Now, it's a lot more that goes into that. Like coaching, schedule to get you into the game. Like, here are the teams that are on, like Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, and Florida State, and are the only guys that have won natties for the most part in the last decade. I'm sure I missed somebody, but they all did have the most talent. But it doesn't mean like that's what's going to get you to it, because in all of these different things right now, Alabama has a 90% blue chip ratio. They lost to Georgia, who has a 77% blue chip ratio. But if you put both of them on the same field, there's nothing that I believe right now that makes me think Alabama will beat Georgia in a football game. Not that Alabama isn't any good. I just don't think they're better than Georgia. Ohio State has an 85%, but I don't think Ohio State beats Michigan, who has a 54% blue chip ratio. Texas A&M has a 73% blue chip ratio and will probably go below 500 again. Clemson has a 72% blue chip ratio, but you don't see it. LSU has a 71% ratio, but if you watch the Florida State game, it wasn't a game until the last 5 minutes, and I believe that's more so because Florida State went in, we're going to take our ball and go home mode. Texas, 70%, did not make a bowl game. OU, 70%, with 500 last year. Oregon, 67%, pretty good. Notre Dame, 65%. When less, Florida, 64%. And we just had a guy who basically just did a whole breakdown, not believing they win a football game. The U, 67%, almost didn't make a bowl game. Penn State played well. USC, 52%. Auburn just got a new coach at 51%. Florida State is notably off that list, and they're one of the teams that everybody's saying has a chance to win a national championship. I'm not saying give me a bunch of I hate that whole give me a 3-star with heart. Fuck that. Give me a good player that fits my scheme. That's what we need. Here's what I think. You're either a college athlete or you're not. And while I don't necessarily believe in blue chip ratio, I don't, because, for example, I know my kid, Jamie French, is a 5-star. That's at Mandarin High School. I don't know why he's a 5-star and Derrick Henry wasn't a 5-star. He was a 4-star. I've asked, let's say there's 50 attributes that an athlete has to have. And if he fits 75% of them in the film matches, he's on track to be a 5-star athlete. They can't give you that list. It's all subjective. Because you'll see, and it's hard to be truly objective in it because Miami traditionally has better talent, but I would say Miami doesn't have better schemes for what they do on defense and offense, and you have to develop those guys a lot. Whereas Podunk, like Pensacola, those athletes might not see the guys, the kind of cast that the Miami guys have to see, but they may have better coaching schemes. There's what you have available to you. I think a lot of stuff matters for how you're going to perform based upon where you go to school and how you fit that system. Like, if you're a power back, let's say you're 220 pounds, you're 6'1", 220. Don't go to Florida State. No matter who the coach is, we've only had that like once or twice. Consistently, we have, if you're 5'11", 200, run a 4.4, boom. You fit the mold of every coach that Florida State's ever had that's been, as a running back, that's been good. I don't think so. Like, when I'm talking to the kids on my team, like, actually, people gonna hate me for this, but like, Florida State came to the party late for one of my corners, and he's committed to Penn State. I joke with him and say, "Hey man, it's never too late to make the right decision." And he's like, "Nah." I was like, "You know what? I wouldn't even encourage you to flip right now, because that means I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, that means we missed. Because if you were a priority, you've been a 4-star the whole time. You would have been on the list. They should have been offered you." So a lot of times it's system, it's match for the coaching personality and style, and different things of that nature. So it's like you have to look at all of these different things, because if your kid, I don't care if your kid's a 3, if your kid is a college athlete, I don't give a fuck. Listen, parents, I don't care what anybody else tells you. This is a business decision. It's these 4 years can shift the next 40. And if you don't wish or covet a Power 5 offer if your aspirations isn't to go to the NFL. If you don't care about going to the NFL, I'm telling you, do yourself and everybody associated with it a favor and just go to like a smart school. Enjoy your college experience. But like, if my son is good enough, Trey, to go to Florida State, we're like, well, if that's where he wants to go, I'm pretty sure if they offer him, that's where he wants to go. But we're looking at it like, motherfucker, can you get to the league from here? Like, does it fit? Where's the depth chart, the style, like your body type? You may not be like, I went to Florida State. That didn't mean you going. And I think a lot of people don't put, like, in that fandom stuff, like, that sound good until you the one you the one making the plays. There's a...
It says this flawed by missing FSU because our blue chips have come through portal, not traditional signing. I think Mike will change that.
Well, I think our you have to look at the blue chips, because blue chips they're blue chips now through transfer. This is talking about high school blue chips. So like, it's not the same. Like Johnny Wilson was a 3-star. Trey Benson was a 3-star. Jordan Travis was a 3-star. Who else do we got? Keon Coleman, I believe, was a 4-star, but he doesn't count towards that. But it's what I'm saying is treat the list with a grain of salt, because we don't really know what encompasses. And I've put a lot of kids in. I put over 1,000 kids in Division I in various sports, and I don't know what the fuck they be looking at. There's kids like right now. I got my running back who I would say is one of the best running backs in the nation, but he doesn't have any power, any G5 offers. But Johnny was a 3-star when he came out, I thought. Keon was a 4-star. What's going on saying what? I think it's Florida in general. Like, I don't want to just say it's just South Florida. Trust me, Mark. Like, and I don't want to say terrible coach because I know some really good coaches down there. I'm just talking about, like, nerd out for you for a second. In North Florida, I got Jamie. Everybody knows Jamie French is a 5-star. If you don't know who he is, 5-star wide receiver, class of 2025. One ranking has him as a 4-star. Fuck them. Jamie's stats will never be like 1,200, 1,500 yards because in North Florida, nobody's going to let Jamie French beat them. He will always be double teamed or bracket coverage. We'll have to motion him, do some different things. And even then, he's still able to get one big play for like 50, 60 yards a game, which is his game. Like, you just need to be ready. Like, they're going to try to take you out of the game, which is fine, smart. They're not going to let that guy beat them. South Florida, man, cover one or man coverage the entire time. We're like, even when we played, like, they just couldn't get. Central Florida does the same thing. It was just a wild game. A lot of miscommunication matchup problems or something. I think we had lost our offensive lineman, so it was a little bit more pressure on our quarterback than what would normally be. But, like, they guard people one-on-one, and Jamie was cooking the kid. We just couldn't get him the ball. We just couldn't get into him, and we still almost won the game. But, like, it's just a different brand. Like, I would, like, when we played the spring game, I don't know why they changed it, but both teams we played put Jamie in single man press coverage with a cornerback that's under 6 foot on Jamie French, who's 6'2", 185. And we went up top both 2 times real quick, scored very easily. One school saying, "Oh, they guys went and said that this boy was overrated," when Jamie had 76 yards in less than a quarter. Like, that's not overrated. That's like, if you pan that shit out, that's a lot. But I don't know why they do stuff like that. But it's yeah, I mean, yeah. But it's wild. But I just think lists like this, you have to make lists and you have to do things to be able to get clicks. And I'm not saying this was clickbait. I don't think it means as much as what some people think. But one thing I do know, which is clickbait, and what they've been doing, what they have made a living off of, and that's On3. I don't know what the fuck On3 is trying to do, but one thing On3 gonna do is write a bullshit article about some NIL. Like, we went on about a year ago. They were like, oh, I forgot his name. He just got drafted to the NFL, but he transferred from Pitt to go to USC, wide receiver, and they were just like, he's upset with his NIL money. All they have to do is write an article and suggest that a kid is upset with their NIL money, and nobody's going to investigate it. And then when you read the article, it's always sources. It's nothing that's tangible, nothing that you can actually weigh, nothing that you can kind of investigate. It's literally just, they could pull it out of their ass. I'm going to go on record. 90% of all NIL articles are bullshit. And I'm going to say that this one is bullshit too. And I'm going to tell you why it's bullshit in quite a few ways. One, there's 81. If they're going to go to what the specs of the old NCAA games were, there was only 70 players on the roster, so they didn't even give you the full 85. So they basically took better players, right? So 70 times, how many people are in Division I? Let's just say 132 schools. Let's say it's 10,000. So if you interview 10,000 people, you could probably find 10,000 people that are upset. You can find a couple. But the article and what they're implying is that it's a lot of people that are upset or are willing to hold out from playing because of the NCAA video game.
Whoa.
I just really don't think you guys understand how, like, why you're in this position. And I'm tired of adults lying. So college football players are discussing. So again, college football players are discussing potential holdouts over NIL payouts for the next EA Sports college football game. Andy Whitty reports, and his story is on 3. Within the locker room of one of college football's blue bloods, players have discussed what their individual rights might be worth if they chose to opt into EA Sports. Pete reported that combined compensation for players who opted to the video game is expected to be roughly $5 million, about $500 per player. And he talked about General Booty at the NIL summit, and he says, like, we've been talking about it in the locker room, but the reality is this: you know what's going to happen? And this is where it's kind of cool. When people don't know, it is more regulated than what they think. 70 players are on the video game. Let's just use Florida State with Battles in. You know how many players they have roughly signed for Florida State's football team? About 70. Strike the deal with Battles in. Battles in pays the players, which is already doing that. And the only way it truly works is if they use the names, but they can randomize it. People have been, like, I saw one guy put a tweet out like, shit, he's like, I was paying a guy $30 and waiting paying a random stranger $30, waiting in the mail for a card with all the players' names on it. He's like, I'll just do that again. They're already playing these games on it. So I think it's just a situation where these questions were asked to these players and they were phrased in a manner in which nobody really knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to this. Even the NFL, like with Madden, which has a smaller pool, about 2,000 players that get a percentage if they make the roster. But like you get paid. It's not a lot of money. That's just the nature of this. Or they're just not, like, the real easy thing is you don't get to hold out for the game. They can just not make the game like they haven't been doing for years.
Yeah, that part. That's what I was.
Right. So it's really a situation where you don't really have leverage. Because you don't have a players union, which technically you can use it. All colleges have the athlete advisory boards, or SAC, Student Athlete Advisory Council, excuse me. And that could act as it, but you don't. So what I would really love is if people stop lying on these kids. And what I want to end on this is with 2 things, but mainly the NBA is finally coming out. They've been leaking shit. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But the one thing I've told you guys, you'd be surprised at how far you can get in life. Like any of y'all can become an insider of anything. You know how you become an insider? Learn to use your fucking common sense and not your emotions. Common sense would tell you that Ja Morant, though you may be annoyed with him, has done absolutely nothing criminal. And if people are like, oh, they're going to suspend him for 1 year, they're going to suspend him for 2 years, he's not going to get his money. And I said, if they do that, he will get all of his money, because any contract lawyer will be licking their chops to get it because he didn't do anything wrong. Now, NBA knows this. NBA is really just gauging everybody's outrage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you how players' associations work. They levy it. They come back and say, we don't like it. And then they give you probably more than half of that. So right now, the rumors are that he may get between 30 and 40 games suspended. Play 82. He's going to take that in theory and probably serve 15 to 20 game suspension. I think it's he's about similar to what he served before. You won't care because the NBA is about they have to make a move, But they have to make a move that's palatable for him so that he doesn't fight it, and then the argument becomes something else that the NBA can't win. See, there's things that the NBA has. They are monopolies, just like the NFL and all these other things. You can't have somebody challenge your monopoly status because they're going to break you up. Antitrust laws and different things are going to go. And you don't want those things. We don't want those problems. I can promise you that. But I just remember all of the faux outrage. I remember and Lil Wayne brought up a great point on the interview. He's like, with two of the guys who were fake outrage, Steven Jackson and the light-skinned motherfucker who Derek Fisher banging his was his godfather, but he's banging terrible fear. Derek Fisher's Barnes. Derek Fisher's one of the worst people on earth. That's why you don't let light-skinned men teach a woman basketball lessons. But they always act tough. Lil Wayne's like, well, how we don't know that boy. Come from a city with 3,000 people in it. And you gave him $200 million. What the fuck do you expect? He's 23 years old. He's gonna be wilding out. Right. And then Lil Wayne said, I came from a good home. My mother loved me, was there. My mother raised me right. And I shot myself. Yeah. And I've always told people, like, I like guns. I don't know, that thing could have been on the safety. They're saying it was a toy gun now and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'm like, he didn't shoot anybody. I said, the worst thing that he did, and this is subjective. It's not objective. Subjective. I would give him 15 games for listening to NBA Youngboy with a gun. I don't like NBA Youngboy like that. But he's a young guy. The kids like that. All Ja Morant, and Lil Wayne said this, the only reason any of us know who Ja Morant is because he's good at dribbling a basketball. Let's stop acting like he's that, because we know deep down, majority of y'all don't give a shit. You only care when something bad happens. And I'm gonna tell you how I can give you some proof right now. I've gone viral numerous times. Book Bag Drive has never gone viral. Never. But I tell you what, if I slap the fuck out of my boy's mother, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna go viral than a motherfucker. And like, I knew that motherfucker was crazy. He's got that CTE in him. He'd been hitting them people, and he's demented. Look at his eyes. Like, they gonna talk about me like Aaron Murray daddy talked about Chico. I knew when I seen him 30 years ago that there was something wrong. That guy was demented. But forget about me. I can tell you this right. Miles will do a short today on any one of these topics. We gotta get back. Can we get back to doing the 2 to 3 shorts? I know it's tough, but it's just, anyways. Yeah. No, it's all good. But like we're gonna post something from today. Whether it be today or tomorrow. I promise you it's gonna get, but at minimum 1.5 thousand views or 1,500 views. Probably get to 20,000 views with some of them. Like, we've had some that got to 30. It's gonna be random shit. It could be, hell, we talked about a song that most of y'all probably have never even heard of, and lately from Stevie Wonder. And that got over almost like 2,000 views. But we made a really good discussion about something that an inner city school did that nobody has done, or very few people do, with a 99.9% graduation rate. Not certificate of completion, but graduation rate. And it has less than 200 views. And I'm not saying, like, when we post, there's data that we have. When we post this shit, it literally gets to that number within the same amount of time. But this one has less than 200 views, all positive, all enriching, everything that you want to do, counter to everything that everybody says from that side of town. So if you want athletes to behave right, give them the attention when they're behaving right and ignore when they're behaving badly. What you're showing your children is, you're supposed to do that, which is cool. I'm with you on that. But I'm not going to entertain when you're doing this shit. But when you do something bad, I'm going to go over the top and give it more attention than it should. But I'm going to do this, though. I'm never going to stop talking about the good things that happen. So, Miles, we can go to the last thing. There's a kid, Tyson Campbell. I think it's Tyson. Did I say Tyson? Yeah. Tyson Gay is a track. So, yeah, Tyson Campbell, Not that one. We didn't even talk about Live Golf, but it's a Facebook link. Yeah, the last one. So he's a cornerback for the Jags. Gotten a lot good. Like one of the better young corners. Like he was rocky at first, but he did very, very good. Now the same school that we were just talking about reigns, Moncrief. Matter of fact, I like how they just boom. You got that right there. It just looks rough. Like just by it's just. I joke with people say, hey, man, I'm going to do all my book bag. I'm going to always go in the hood before 5 o'clock. I just don't believe in being places that you're not supposed to be. Like, I don't live there. I'm a visitor. I'm going to visit during daylight hours just to be, I'm being polite. But Moncrief, this man is a multi-millionaire, or will be. He may be still in the dial, but he's made a lot of money in the NFL in this short amount of time. He will sign a big contract. Hopefully, we'll keep him here in Jacksonville. But look what he does on his time off that he didn't have to do. And for those who are just like listening on the SoundCloud, he's got a young DB, and they're at the Reigns football field, and he's teaching him the game. He's showing him drills. He doesn't have to do this. He's correcting him. And look at the kid. He's engaged. Listening, wanting to get good, giving him the techniques, teaching him stuff. Now, you can go find this on Facebook on your own. But, like, basically. Well, he's the DB. So what he's trying to do is make sure that he's like, if the wide receiver slaps the hands away, how you can get your hand placement right back. But, like, I want to make sure that people see this. So even if it's just a couple hundred people that will view it. Yeah. But like, this is so cool. Like, this is impactful. This is a guy, like, this is Gene Atkins. Me at 8 years old going to Gene Atkins football camp and wanting to be a football player because of Gene Atkins. And seeing what he did in the community. Like this guy right here, this kid may never forget this. And he's doing it in the hood. But like, guess what? It's gonna get a little bit like, it's just like the Travis Rudolph thing. Like Travis Rudolph, I think one of the coolest things is what he had at lunch. Did you know that kid actually came to support him?
Oh, really?
The kid that he went to lunch with, like he's a bigger kid now. He came, his family supported him to show that. But like, this is what the majority of athletes is. I'm going to be honest with you. That's them. Selfless kids that came from areas that are looking to give back and don't mind working and are humble. But we only pay attention to those who aren't humble, who are doing the things that are bad. We give that attention. So what are you teaching? What are you really teaching the kids? Because attention is currency in today's environment. So on that note, man, again, if you want to, love helping in the community, anything that I could do to help you guys out, continue to push this. Like, I appreciate everybody liking this. Please give this a share to your respective platforms so that we can continue to grow the brand. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.